going on, everybody? It's IBB James, and I'm here again with my friends Grace and Jared, and this is part 2 of the hashtag IBB Top 3
Trilogy.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, it never gets old to me.
Yeah.
So, didn't see the first video, go back and watch it. It's great stuff. And then let's roll into number 2, Grace.
So the second thing we want to talk about is diversity and inclusion, and that there's a big difference between those two things, because diversity is just being able to say, I include people with disabilities, I include people who are gay or anything like that, just having the statistic out there. But inclusion is really asking the person and asking them to participate in what your company does and what your organization does, asking them to be part of it, to have part in any position that's available to anyone else, being able to really open that door of opportunity, not just to neurotypical people, but also to the disabled population as well.
Like that. And and I think, because we were talking about this earlier, Jay, what was the quote? You're talking about like the
dance. So diversity is maybe being like invited to the dance, but inclusion is being asked to dance, right? So I think
awesome.
Some businesses or groups that want to include people with disabilities or just from other different populations, they might just try to check off the box. Like, yeah, we reached out to them and they were there, but did you bring them in the conversation? Did you give them a seat at the table if there's conversations or task force that are discussing different aspects of the job or the group or whatever? So sometimes I think people might feel accomplished, like, oh, we hired a person with a disability or from a different population, from the LGBTQ community, but do you allow them to participate in some of the things that you would allow everyone? Or is their voices heard? Do you try to draw them into other things, after hours and work, parties or things like that? So kind of just not trying to check the box, but also seeing how you can include them in everyday conversations or some of the planning that your business might have or your organization might have. That's really the definition of inclusion.
Because they'll probably see things in a different way, or they have a different perspective than other people might have. So, and that brings diversity in itself.
Yeah, no, and we talk about checking the box. That is very near and dear for me. So our Redefine Your Life series, like we're working with like businesses and people, just trying to help them, kind of take things to the next level. And it sounds cliche, but it's like same things. Like I want to go to work, but also be happy. I want to live my life, but also be, so like happiness, like has to be, it's got to be Grace's form of happiness. Like whatever she wants, that's what, and whatever Jared wants. Like everybody's definition of success is different, but we say we talk about the success box, and like for me, like I was miserable my first 5 years of my career because I was just, all right, go to school, check, okay, get a job, check, okay, like just kind of
going through the motions,
like all right,
and
you I feel like there's always that, hey, I did it, I can check this box, now life will magically be perfect, and it never is. And so I know that too is like, and it is very difficult. My wife works for a very large organization, and that's where she's a woman in a leadership role, and they're trying to do a lot more of that, and it's just tough because it's like, well, it's one thing to get someone in a leadership role or a part of your organization, but exactly you said, it's like, how are you helping them actually move forward? How are you actually helping them grow and be a part of the dream versus just like a little,
you're here.
Okay, cool. All right, we got that done, and we'll see you later. See you next year for your review.
Yes.
But it's very cool. So, like, what are some things that you've seen other businesses do or organizations do that help include people when they're checking the box? They're taking it to the next level of actually including and networking people within their jobs and everything.
Well, I think one great example is my Good Life Ambassador job with the Cuyahoga Board of Developmental Disabilities, is that they're hiring people with disabilities ranging from cerebral palsy to autism to ADHD, and people who may not seem like they're able to advocate, but these people can, and not only they could just say, oh, we hired people with disabilities, and then they do nothing in the job, and we're just figures on a table, but we're actually going out into the community. We're changing the lives of not only and changing the opinions of people who consider people with disabilities second rate, or that they're not capable of doing things that other people can do. We're changing those perceptions and those feelings about how people feel towards the disabled, when people might feel uncomfortable even looking at a disabled person, rather than to be uncomfortable and to keep walking, instead of saying, hi, how are you? How can I help you? Or how's your day going? Things like that. We're making people feel comfortable with the disabled, and that's really the first step to inclusion, because we can't include people if we don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think just the opportunity, Grace's job is really, as the county board, is we have people out there like myself advocating for people with disabilities and saying, if people with disabilities can do anything we can, well, we should give them the opportunity to do the advocation that I'm right.
Yes,
so we just had a big event at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We had about 100 businesses. Yeah. And Grace, I mean, this was a huge presentation, and she opened it, and we had another Good Life ambassador, Will, close it. So to kind of put your money where your mouth is, right? If you're saying people with disabilities can do anything we can, well, then give them the opportunity and the shot. And I think that's the big thing. We're not saying every business that hires someone, it's always going to work out, or if you try to promote someone with a disability, it's going to work out perfectly. But that's the same for us. Like, we've taken jobs that weren't really a great fit, or we didn't like, or, businesses have to let go of people that don't have disabilities.
All the time.
You're really just, you're taking a shot and giving someone the opportunity. Yeah. So I think one of the easiest things for inclusion is just giving someone a chance, letting them try it, and being, and seeing if they can get it done, right?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things I say a lot is less talky, more doing. Like it's very,
a service, not a sentence.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I love it. Awesome. So, very cool. Well, anything else to add on that? I think we definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm learning. This is awesome.
Yeah,
so, very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Well, all right. Well, thank you for joining us on part 2. And so check out the first one, come back for the last one, and until next time,
stay burn proof.
All right.